Hello everybody, this is Larry Football. But today, I'm going to be the beer view mirrors because we're going to be talking about Kevin's League, the Carpet Munchers. I wanted to go through a few scenarios here. I was playing around with a couple of things. Obviously, you can see James' gang right there on top, and they won their last 8 weeks in a row. They're firmly entrenched in number one. They are clinched. At one point, that means they were 2-2. They were firmly entrenched in mediocrity like the rest of us, but he won his last 8 weeks. Good for him. Now, nobody else has clinched, and that's because there's a couple of different weird things that could happen. I'm going to point out a couple of things. I'm going to start off, which I think would be a fun thing to happen. Let's say that I win my next 2 games. This is the situation that I really hope happens. Okay, if I win out my last 2 games, I'm going to be at 8-6. Well, here's what also could happen. Turd burglars could win out and be at 8-6. Timmy, Cowboys from Hell, could lose his last 2 games and be at 8-6. And all we need then is for Senior to lose to me, of course, so I could win out, and then win his other game, and he finishes 8-6. Of course, James' gang's already in. But look, we would have then a 4-way tie for second. Only 4 make the playoffs, so one of these teams wouldn't get in. Guess which one of these teams have the least amount of points for? You guessed it, Timmy at Cowboys from Hell. So what could happen is Timmy can go, boo, and all these 3 move up. So Timmy could be ousted from the playoffs. This is my favorite situation, and I hope this is what happens. Of course, there's a few other things that could happen. I mean, you never know. I mean, if I just move this over a little bit. I was thinking, what if I go 1-1? This is interesting. So that means I would finish at 7-7. If that happens, I really have to hope that Debbie goes 1-1 and finishes at 7-7. Then, what also could happen is Team USA could lose his next 2 games and be at 7-7. Also, Pack for Life. He could win his next 2 games and finish 7-7. And Pack for Life is playing Arkansas Hillbillies, so he couldn't do the same thing at the same time. But the team could conceivably win his last and finish at 7-7. And then it doesn't matter with Cowboys from Hell, even if they lost both games, they're 8-6. We would have a playoff situation of James, Timmy, and then 2 of these 5. That would be pretty cool too. But obviously, this would be more fun to see Timmy get knocked out. Now, then I said, all right, well, what has to happen for Jeff to make the playoffs? Well, it looks like if Jeff makes the playoffs, there's only one situation. Jeff, you got to win both your games out. So that would get you to 7-7. Some of these can't be 7-7 if you make it to 7-7. Because if you win one game against Pack for Life, they're already at 5-8. Guess what? They're knocked out of the playoffs. So if you win, you really just knocked them out of the playoffs. But then you really need me and Debbie to go 1-1 or worse. And then that's your only shot, really. Even if Senior wins both of his games, if Senior wins both of his games, he's definitely in. But then that just makes him in. But then you have a shot, Jeff. You just have to win both your games, and then you need a little help. And this is really going to get a lot clearer once we see what happens after this week. Anyway, it was fun trying to make this. I just want to point out a couple of things. First of all, only a hillbilly would put an apostrophe in for his name. And that's about it. See you guys.